You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
Welcome back, everybody, to Nerds Pod. And we finally made it to the end of Peacemaker. So, Pooba, just gotta set it off with this. Did I miss something here? Like, I don't know.
I missed it too. I missed it too.
Oh, so then I shouldn't ask you. Okay.
Yeah. No, listen. Before you start, there was this whole thing about Man of Tomorrow. They pitched the green suit to us. This was going to lead into a big part of the DCU. I was looking for that. Didn't see it.
I believe the ending did. I'll say this. I believe the ending did because he's in what they're calling salvation. Correct? That's the where he's at. Remember when they were in that room, the guy was like, "Yeah," so we're gonna go there and build the prison. And Rick Flag Sr. was like, "No, that is the prison. They're never coming back here. We're gonna stick them there, and that's gonna be it." So I get that part leading into Man of Tomorrow. That I didn't have an issue with, but this was hyped as there's gonna be some insane cameos, and there was not one. Because I know I didn't miss. It was an hour long. I know I did. I think I would have seen these insane cameos he spoke of. So I was disappointed that you didn't need to do that to get people to watch. People that were already watching. I was disappointed at that, and the fact that and I guess this is my own fault because I've said I'm a sucker for the multiverse so multiple times here. Quantumania was a letdown. A Multiverse of Madness gave us a little bit of it, but it was like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then Wanda came and just bodied everybody. The one that really delivered was Deadpool and Wolverine. But
I would say Spider-Man delivered.
Yeah, Spider-Man as well. But it's just tough because it's something that I really want that, especially when they put it out there as far as like, there's gonna be some insane cameos. Couldn't wait for that. And it was Hardcore and Peacemaker on a date. But I didn't mind the ending. The ending was okay to me. Because I see that they started. We'll go. I guess we'll go through it, but. It's just I did want to kind of voice my concern with why promote that with cameos and then don't deliver on that. I was just disappointed that I just felt because I felt that you didn't really need that. You didn't need to promote it like that or tease that to get people to watch. People were watching anyway. It's a good show. Based off that, I'd give it a 9. I would have given it a 9.5. Had they not overhyped the last episode of the series. But, we're on a date. They showed them on a date, Peacemaker and Hardcore. This is where they were talking about that boat and that famous, the boat incident he continued to reference.
Yeah, since the first episode of this season, correct. We were like wondering, I was like, did they hook up? But it was just a kiss. It's just a kiss. Take it easy here.
It was, and then, they did show Argus. They like I said, I didn't have a problem overall with the episode. I think they kind of, again, overpromised on a lot of stuff and didn't deliver. But they did show them the process of them going through the dimensional portals to see what's out there. That was but again, that's what Rick Flag said a couple episodes ago. Let them think it's about revenge. I need that portal generator because the end game was the salvation where that's what the plan is. I think this leads into Man of Tomorrow though. I don't have a beef with the ending. I don't.
There's some good parts here. If we're going to get into the door conversation here, that's the best part of this whole episode. This episode felt more like mid-season than it felt like a finale.
I heard somebody say that as well.
So that's what this felt like. But there was something that I was excited about, and it was the black hole.
Yes. Good
which
reference.
looks like the same black hole that Ultraman went through.
Absolutely, yeah. I believe that was the same one. I do believe it.
So knowing what that door is, and that was the door he thought, I think that Flag thought that was going to be the hitter. And while it wasn't, and I thought we were going to lose Judo Master as well there for a moment there, but that for me was the best door. The other door that was dope to me was the zombie door, which of course is a nod to James Gunn when he did a zombie movie as well.
Yes.
So, you know, that was pretty dope as well. The other stuff I didn't care for, the little munchkin things that were blowing up. I guess the best part was when Harcourt was shooting, even though we lost. Was it Pony Boy? I think
they were calling him something else, but I remember Fleury giving him the name Pony Boy when they first showed him. So I was referring to him as Pony Boy the whole season.
Yeah. So he's, whatever he called him there, Pony Boy's funnier to me. But I know they were talking about the strip club and him throwing up on a stripper, which is, again, I guess it's his last memory of it all. So it is what it is. But the black hole portion was, I was like, oh, and I thought that Ultraman was going to get back in, or Bizarro, and it didn't happen because of this big tease of cameos that we were lied to, because we only got Lex and Lex's people as the cameos.
Yeah,
unless I missed something.
And I don't know. I mean, I saw it twice. I watched it again. You know, it kind of like tied up the loose ends when Rick Flag said, look, I need that portal generator. Let them think it's revenge for my son. I need that. So now we see what the end game was. The end game was the salvation. And
there's a comic book run for that, just to let you know. There is a comic book run for salvation.
Yes, there is. So that's supposed to be leading into Man of Tomorrow. They did see the alien that's in the portal universe. Never addressed it. I mean, maybe that's something that's going to be addressed later on. Don't know. But they did. He was there again, I guess, throwing away whatever it is that he has to throw away. Never addressed it. They just stare at him, and it's the elephant in the room. It's never addressed.
Again, that's off, right? Is that a little off for you? Like they're looking for things. Supposedly, Harcourt thinks that they're looking for another world to populate.
Yeah, she doesn't know until Bordeaux tells her what's really good with what's going on.
Yeah, but the alien, I was like, oh, they just saw an alien and they acted like nothing.
And they kept it moving. But Bordeaux now is seeing what Flag is. I think she's getting a little bit of a reality check. I don't think she was blinded or anything. You know, she was doing her job, but she's seeing that they exploring this multiverse or these portals, these dimensions. They're losing people. They lost somebody with those little things coming out of the grass. That's where Pony Boy died. They lost a guy in the zombies. They almost lost somebody in the black hole. So she's looking at it like, you know, what are we really doing here? And you saw when Harcourt passed over the documents, he was like, thanks, we'll take it from here.
But then that goes back to what I was saying. When he was asking her to call her Rick, and she was like, yo, you asked me to call you Rick. Rick Sucio, I still think that stands.
But why? She said it again. And he was like, what? He didn't care. He didn't care for her at that time. He cared about the document.
I mean,
you got the Mr. Fantastic reach. How's that saying go? You got the Mr. Fantastic reach going on right now. No, I don't get that. That we've heard that in our whole life. Oh no, call me this, call me that. Just to remove the formality, and you think he's trying to smash because he's saying call me.
I think he's past it because he doesn't care anymore. Hence why he doesn't even pay attention to it. But again, I'll be on my soapbox about that one. But I do want to mention something before everything happens is, can we talk about Vigilante and Adebayo for a minute?
Absolutely. You can always
Yeah.
talk about Vigilante, yo.
When he said the Lee comment, and he said, if you give each other cunnilingus, then
Oh
you
my
can call
God.
each other that.
And
Listen, I've never seen someone be so brutal and funny to their own mother at the same time.
that's
Never
the
seen it.
thing that's kind of saves it for me, is like, I know he's just so off the cuff that it's outrageous what he's saying, and it's to his mother, but it's just because it's him. We all know his wiring is not all done up there. So he is a weirdo, but it comes off funny in his delivery. The guy's really good who plays Vigilante. I'm glad they didn't kill anybody off like we thought they would.
Yeah, what happened there?
Thank God.
Oh, we lost Pony Boy.
No, I mean, well, you did make a prediction that Langston Fury, I think you said both of them, Judo Master and Langston Fury, were going to be 11th Street Kids, even though I think they're more working for Checkmate than being 11th Street Kids.
Mm-hmm.
Judo Master doesn't take off his uniform ever. He had the suit on top of his Judo Master suit when he was exploring dimensions. I think he was one of the ones that almost went into the black hole.
Yes, he was the first one. He was the first one.
So he doesn't take that off, because even at the end when they were in Checkmate offices setting up the offices, he still had it on. Everybody else was in regular clothes, and he had on his Judo Masters.
That must be a little funky, like to hit that uniform. Just say.
I thought that was funny. So I spoke about Bordeaux. Bordeaux ended up meeting up with Hardcore.
Same burger joint too, from the Kiss.
Big Belly Burger. That's a DC universe. Like it's like they're McDonald's for the DC universe. Big Belly Burger.
That serves shots.
I said the same thing. I said this Mickey D's is selling shots, and like a row of them. Like, what are you doing there? But yeah, they were able to get blasted in Big Belly Burgers, like the McDonald's / Burger King of DC. So I guess that's an Easter egg there. Rick Flag did name drop Arkham when he was bringing up Salvation. He Bel Rev and Arkham. He name dropped that. So yeah, when I brought up Bordeaux, and she's starting to see the light, and she linked up with Hardcore at Big Belly Burger.
So yeah, that scene was really good because Bordeaux, Hardcore, when it hit me, Hardcore was like, you can get court-martialed for this, in the sense of you're risking it all based on a hunch, right? At first. But then because again, I thought she was just a cyborg, but she's not. She called her a meta, which I didn't know that. Didn't know that. Did you?
No. So it seems like we'll find out more. Again, this is the season finale, and he has said, well, I don't know if we should believe him anymore, but he has said this would lead into Man of Tomorrow. But we also have Lanterns coming up, and we also have Supergirl coming up before Man of Tomorrow. So we saw Supergirl make an appearance at the end of Superman. So I'm sure he's gonna be, having these, you saw a couple of Lexus guys there in Peacemaker 2. You saw Lex Luthor, of course, he made the cameo. So he's linking everything together. I'm super excited to see Supergirl before anything. Definitely Lanterns. Can't wait for that. That's a series. We'll be covering that, of course, because you need something Green Lantern related. I think it's time. It's been enough time that we need something Green Lantern related. But they end up getting. Let me ask you, the scene with Adebayo and her lady.
Man, that was actually amazing to see. Two grown-ups knowing that their relationship is going in opposite ways, the candid conversation that they were having. I really enjoyed it. Like, props to both actresses that did that job, because You felt it, like, man, this is the end of something that they thought was beautiful. The idea of I love you, but I can't move within this relationship. Um, like if anybody is going through a breakup and you want to get healthy away from that breakup, watch that scene. It is the best way without creating enemies at any form of fashion, gay, straight, whatever you want, whatever it is. That is probably the best way to have a straight up conversation to break up with someone instead of ducking it or doing it through text messages.
Well,
I love to see that because I don't think that we do it enough in this world. But while tough to watch just a little bit, delivery. I'm all about the acting and the delivery. Props. Done well.
they were adults about it, and like you said, we don't see that enough, and that, again, that causes problems. But finally, I guess they finally closed the chapter on that. I read a comment that somebody said there won't be a Peacemaker 3 because James Gunn has said there's not going to be a Peacemaker 3. He doesn't have plans on doing Peacemaker 3, which I don't think there's a story to tell there, so I'm okay with that. But they may do a series on Checkmate, their agency that they started at the end of the the finale. But so what do you give this series? What do you give this season 2 of Peacemaker? What do you rank it?
As an overall score, I enjoyed it. I laughed. I got double vigilante, so I'm not going to even complain about that. It's a solid 7 for me, and it's a solid 7 just based on the fact that we were teased with cameos that didn't come in. We got Rick Flag doing Lex Luthor's work. And the guy who asked to be, I forget the scientist's name right now, that worked for Lex Luthor, he wanted immunity. He wanted to get out of jail. They told him no, but then he's in a full-on suit, open roaming, and he's in the Pentagon.
Well, he did say I can use you though, so I guess that's what he said. I'll give you this. You got a job. You're working for me. So I don't know if they let him out scot-free, but he's definitely working for them.
He doesn't get to go to the Pentagon and be in those rooms though. I'm sorry, like you lost me there. But there again, I'm nitpicking, and I know that. That's just who I am. But there are just certain things throughout the episode that were kind of miss for me in general. Like you have this prime eagle that is at this point cosmic. And the minute that Peacemaker's gone, he's Harry Potter in the closet. Like, no, I'm sorry. It's that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me.
Well, he was Rick Flag Sr. was called out. He said, "Oh, now you're doing Lex Luthor's, his work." And he said it. He said, "Well, he is the smartest man on the planet. Let's let him make our planet safer." So I guess maybe he came to the light after, he was able to get what he wanted, the whole Peacemaker, just trying to get back at Peacemaker, and he was able to do that, and at the same time rid the world of menace
as well. That scene where he's trying to make a joke, that was cringe, bro. That was so cringe. That whole thing of him trying to make a joke.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Puba, but this, and again, I gave this a 9. I really liked it. I did like it, even though I was disappointed at the finale. I still like the ending because it's going to lead into Man of Tomorrow, so I'm okay with that. They didn't need to overhype this with the cameos. I just felt that why do that? You didn't need to do that. But he's my least favorite character. Least favorite character. Oh my God! Like
you're talking about Economos, right?
Oh, I'm talking about Economos.
Okay.
Like every other word, and this is my issue, and we haven't discussed this here, but we discussed this before we started this. I felt that the overuse of the F word made it inauthentic, and Titans to me was super guilty of that. And I felt like every other word out of Economos' mouth, every time he started to have some type of dialogue, the F word was there. And it's not that it bothers me, because look, I'm not one who has I'm no saint. I definitely curse just as much as anybody else, but it just felt forced. And I know that DC's supposed to be like this edgier, you know, take on comics. I get that, and I'm okay with that. And I guess maybe that's why I'm more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. I'm okay. It doesn't bother me, but it seemed like it was forced, like just throwing in that F word inside of dialogue just for the hell of it. And it seemed like he was guilty of it more than anybody. I could be wrong. That's just the vibe I got. Everything was just F out of nowhere. And Jesus Christ, like, can you elaborate any more on your dialogue, please? But yeah, I agree with you. Him trying to distract them was horrendous. Horrendous. Probably the worst part of the entire season 2 was that part. But I'm not a fan
No,
of him.
and I'm not basing it off that. Again,
I know.
I
am.
I don't think Economos was relevant to the story. I mean, as much as Adebayo called him the P word and say he would never do that, he did it for you, which was another great scene when she was talking to Chris in the hotel lobby.
Yes.
Again, great acting there. But as an overall, like if Economos was not in the story at all, I would actually be okay with that.
So would I.
Give me more Judo Master and Vigilante. Adebayo, I think her best work in the sense of acting that I've seen so far, she delivered. From the tears were believable when she was talking to Chris in that scene, to when she was talking to Vigilante and kind of, playing on his strings about reverse psychology on the whole money issue on trying to use the cash. Adebayo stole this season for me in the sense of the acting. John Cena had that great scene when they were killing his brother. Absolutely loved that portion of it. Harcourt was for me. Rick Flag. I liked Rick Flag. I did like Rick Flag in this as well because he was a douche and exactly what he should be if he's going to run a Suicide Squad, especially like he did in Creature Commandos. So again, overall, it's not bad. I'm not giving it the mid portion of it like a 5. But on a scale of 10, I think that it missed a lot because we expected a lot. I wanted to see how this opens up the DCU. And the only thing we got was the interview with the Justice Gang. So as an overall season, I could rewatch this, but am I going to recommend it? Probably not. If you're not a comic book fan, you may not like this show. Again, I'm going to go back to everything I said about between season 1 and season 2. This is nothing more than a poor man's The Boys. And that's all it is.
I did like it. Again, like I said, I'm not holding that against them. The overhyping it, I'm not holding that against them. I think it's a good job with Salvation leading that into Man of Tomorrow. Who knows if it's linked to Supergirl? Who knows? But I gotta give and I think like you said, you liked Rick Flag, who is Frank Grillo, and he was Crossbones in the MCU. I actually seen him a long time ago in this movie called Pride and Glory with Ed Norton and Colin Farrell. Very good cop movie. Dirty Cops, good movie. That's a awesome
very good movie. Underrated awesome in my opinion.
What was that?
That movie's underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, very. So Frank Grillo's been around, probably one of the more accomplished actors in this series, as well as Langston Fury, Tim Meadows. A great scene at the end with him and Vigilante interacting. The funny one for me was, spiders have udders. You can buy spider milk. And he said, where? He said, at Whole Foods. Hilarious. Hilarious. But I do want to say this. I was going into it by saying when I got into the conversation about Rick Flag Sr., where we've seen him before, but Harcourt, that scene when she told him I'm an effing nightmare. That to me was like, I got to give her props on that. that was top notch right there for me. You could see it in her eyes. It was really good. That scene, she really did her thing on that one. But I'm done. Again, anticlimactic because of the hype. I would have been okay if they didn't hype it up as much. So I'm a little annoyed, but still overall, can't wait for more. Puba, last thoughts on Peacemaker season 2.
Listen, I'm all in. Keep making. If you can make a no-name comic book character a household name, then you've completed your job. James Gunn is actually very good at this. Of course, he did this with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew about them, didn't know anything of them, and now they're a household name. I think Peacemaker now is a household name. HBO, DC, I think they're doing some really good things together. Again, continue doing this. Whether it's a hit or miss or fail, we got to continue doing this because we're seeing things that we read as a child come to life. This is why I liked Peacemaker. Again, I don't want to bash it. It's a solid 7 as a show. Didn't give me the giggles and my hairs didn't stand throughout the whole situation. Some great fight scenes, some great characters. I enjoyed going through the season with you, Pete. I really did enjoy going through this season. I just feel like, I expected to climb a mountain here, and I got a little bit of a hill. And you're right. The feel of this show was that it was going to lead to something huge and big. And while Salvation could be it, I don't know where they're going to take it. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing that I don't know where they're going to take this because I'm still here for the shock value.
Yeah.
And that for that part of it, I'm willing to go through this DCU, but in the sense of Peacemaker, thanks for making it. it.
So again, it's just another. He's linking all this together. That's just another link to link everything together. But I do give it a 9. I liked it a lot. So again, thank you everybody for supporting us. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please do us a favor. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that bell so you can know when we bring out something else. For Puba, for myself, we will return.
The worst episode ever.